Hey guys, this is Chetan,
And this is Abby.
and welcome back to the Unprofessionals. So last week we had a amazing week of football, like we discussed previously with the NFL, but this time we're discussing college football. And with college football, you never know what's going to happen, especially because these are just kids playing football, and sometimes miracles happen. Sometimes, you know, it's not like the NFL where you can expect things, where you fully expect things to happen. And so this week in college football, we had a lot of good games. And week 5 coming up is going to be one of the biggest weeks in football. But with the way the rankings have been going, this is one of those years where you can't predict these rankings. You can't predict who's going to win, who's going to lose, because it is the playing field has been very even, I would say. It hasn't been like in previous years where everyone's gone crazy. So let's just go over a couple of these games, right? I'm gonna do the run through of the big games, and then we're gonna discuss four games that we're gonna hone in on. But let's do this. On Friday night, Fresno State beat number 22. Fresno State beats UNLV. Number 1, Alabama beats was it USM, Southern Mississippi. Georgia beats Vanderbilt. Oregon beats Arizona. We're going to come back to number 4, Oklahoma beating West Virginia. But number 5, Iowa wins. Penn State, number 6, wins. We'll come back to number 7, Texas A&M taking on number 16, Arkansas. We'll come back to number 9, Clemson versus NC State. And then just a couple of the big games that we're going to go over. Number 12, Notre Dame versus number 18, Wisconsin. And the last game we're going to that is actually all the games that we're going to go over. But one game that we're not going to go over, but it was so close, Abby. Rutgers almost beat Michigan. I mean, but it also shows how bad Michigan actually is. And they're ranked.
Rutgers is legit, and Michigan is not fully legit. That's what I'm gonna say. Rutgers is on the rise.
Yeah. So as alums, it was very sad to see them lose. End up the way we thought it would, but thank God it wasn't that blowout from a couple years ago. That's all I gotta say. But let's move on to the big game of the day. We're gonna talk about where they go. Number 12, Notre Dame, number 18, Wisconsin, and the absolute beatdown Notre Dame put on them. Right? We talked about it. We're like, watch, it's going to be a Jack Cohen revenge game. He goes 15 for 29, 158 yards, throws a TD. It wasn't, you know, the offensive juggernaut I would have thought it was going to be. His numbers aren't where I thought it were going to be, but at the end of it, they beat Wisconsin. Uh, our buddy, how do you pronounce his name? Mentz?
Yep, Graham Mertz.
Mertz. 4 interceptions. He is the highest rated QB to ever be recruited by Wisconsin. How's that looking now? Abby, what are your thoughts on this game?
It was so easy, and I don't think everyone capitalized on it. But Notre Dame was, bro. Like, I don't know why Wisconsin was. They beat Eastern Michigan. They should have beat Penn State. They didn't. Graham Mertz looks like a complete fraud. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna. He's a college kid, whatever. A couple years younger than us. But bro, he's not that good. He's just not. I'm sorry. Wisconsin's defense as much as they could. The final score 41-13 is kind of wrong. Like, it's not, doesn't tell the whole story. It wasn't a blowout until the final quarter. But in general, I think Notre Dame, they still have done nothing. Wisconsin, they suck. And the Big Ten, there's a lot of teams in the mix now, in my opinion. Because you got Michigan State, who survived. You got Michigan, who plays Wisconsin. We're going to get into that in a later episode. And we have Ohio State, obviously. They're still there. Penn State, Iowa. So there is no super team this year. There is no Justin Fields led Ohio State. There is no even Dwayne Haskins, Ohio State. There's no JT Barrett, Ohio State out there. So all in all, Notre Dame, in my opinion, I have no idea why Wisconsin was a 6 to 7 point favorite. Absolute nonsense. Wisconsin, are you serious? They were a 7 point favorite in a neutral site against Notre Dame. Even after Notre Dame did not beat anyone, at least they beat everyone. Even though they didn't beat anyone, they still beat everyone. So that was something to say. The Jack Cohn revenge game, he got his revenge. Probably feeling good about it. He got banged up. So hopefully we'll see if he plays against Cincinnati, the biggest game of the year for both teams. We'll get into that in a later episode. But overall, Wisconsin is what we thought. It's not an upset. I don't care what the lines makers made it. That was not an upset. It was an upset for the people that bet on Wisconsin. That's all I'm going to say. And if you bet on Wisconsin, in my opinion, you were looking at smoke and mirrors. You were, I guess, going by the name brand, even though Notre Dame is a bigger name brand, in my opinion. So it's not 2020 hindsight. We both picked Notre Dame to take the points, obviously. But regardless, Notre Dame, they won. And now they have their biggest test coming up. And Wisconsin is right back to where they've always been. They've only had one QB who became somewhat relevant, and that was Russell Wilson. And that was because he transferred from NC State. They can't find a QB, or their QB just suck. They don't have that superstar running back that they've had. Melvin Gordon, Jonathan Taylor, Monty Ball. They've had a lot of James White. They've had so many superstar running backs in Wisconsin. But right now, they have a decent crew of running backs, not superstar. Their O-line is solid. Their defense is solid. But their QB, bro, he's just not – he's still young, but still, he just ain't as highly touted as people thought he was going to be.
All right. Let's move on to Texas A&M and Arkansas.
Woo!
Arkansas wins 20-10. They were ranked 16 before. We're going to talk about what their ranking is later on in the show. But this was fantastic. So here's a couple stats out here. Texas A&M 11-game win streak snapped. They were outgained in yardage, 443 yards to 272 yards. KJ Jefferson threw for 202 yards, 2 long touchdown passes before getting hurt against a Texas A&M defense that did not allow a passing touchdown all year. All year for the first 3 games of the season. Other than that, it's just they played absolutely fantastic. Arkansas has been a buzzsaw. We talked about they were our pick a couple weeks ago when they're facing Texas, and then they face Texas A&M, win here, and they continue to win, and that they look fantastic. Are they playing Oklahoma this year?
Who?
Do they? Will Arkansas play Oklahoma this year?
No. Why?
Just a question.
Oh no. Why would they play Oklahoma?
I don't know. Just because whenever I think of someone playing Texas, I always think of them playing Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. I feel you. No, but they have some big games coming up themselves.
They got a lot of big games.
We're gonna get into the rankings in a bit, but they have made a monster jump, and rightfully so. When we talk about this game, Texas A&M, it is what it is. They can play defense. Their offense is garbage. It's simple. They can play defense. They don't have an offense. Simple as that. Arkansas, they can play defense, and they have a decent offense. They have a great running game, and that's exactly what we saw. This was a neutral site game. We gave out we thought Arkansas plus 5.5 was the play here. I thought Texas A&M would win the game, but the points, you have to go with Arkansas. But if this game was in Arkansas, I would have been fully confident in them. But it was in Jerry's world. But regardless, they balled out 20-10. That's called defense. I don't care. Holding a SEC opponent to 10 points, even though Texas A&M is not a great offense, that's phenomenal. They ran the ball nearly 50 times for 200 yards rushing. They didn't quit on the run. They didn't get like 5 yards a carry or 6 yards a carry. They got 4 yards a carry, but they kept running it. They played defense. They gave their defense time to rest. And now Arkansas is undefeated. Texas A&M, in my opinion, they never deserved to be as highly ranked as they were. They never had that aura about them. They're good. They're going to win games, but they weren't a national championship contender. Arkansas now has a possibility of becoming that with their schedule and with the wins they have. So Arkansas, keep disrespecting them, and they will just come out and disrespect you and your opinions because they keep winning. What a job Bo Pelini has done. Changed that team around since last year. Last year was the resurgence, and now full bloom. We get to see Arkansas, and they have their biggest test this Saturday. Oh my God, this Saturday is just full of monster, big named teams games, ranked, unranked, whatever you want to call it. There's some monster games this Saturday. The best weekend so far we're going to have in terms of college football so far. But Arkansas will be playing Georgia. Wow. That's defense. You know, I don't expect much scoring, but we're going to get into that in a later episode, but still. Texas A&M. Yep. This was coming. When they scored 10 points against Colorado, you knew what was about to happen. The defense can only hold on for so long. And Arkansas, give them their credit.
Yeah, no. This Arkansas schedule, this Saturday they face number 2 Georgia. The Saturday after, number 12 Ole Miss.
Yeah, it's not. It's this. The people. This schedule is not. Bro, they gotta play Alabama still. They gotta go to LSU. LSU is not great, but they're not bad. Oh my God, this is not good. If Arkansas wins 9 games this year, that is a super success, in my opinion.
Yeah, they got 4 ranked games coming up.
They have Georgia, Ole Miss, and Alabama, the 3 best teams in my opinion, to play, including themselves. And they already beat one of the best teams in the SEC in Texas A&M, which everyone thought.
Yeah, let's just see if they can keep this up, because if they can, it's gonna be one hell of a ride through the SEC.
If they go undefeated, they'd be the number 1 seed.
If they go undefeated, they just hand them the title.
They would have earned the title the regular season.
What?
They would have earned the title just by playing the regular season, in my opinion. I wouldn't even let them play at the playoff. Like your schedule was the playoff. All right, now let's get into you can call it an upset. I don't consider it one because this team has looked garbage since the first game. And Clemson, wow, how the mighty have fallen. Trevor Lawrence is somewhere waving high to Dabo Swinney. It's not. This is what I love about football and sports in general. You get to really see who can coach when you don't have superstars. And Clemson still got 5-star players everywhere. But they ain't got the superstars. They don't got Deshaun Watson. You ain't got a Trevor Lawrence. DJ could be really good. He ain't those two. And that's what I love about sports, and especially coaches, because you get to really see who can coach and not only recruit. Because you get the 5 stars, but once you play these teams that also have somewhat talent, they also have talent. So who's coaching up who? That's why I feel Dabo Swinney, here we go. You're 2-2. You're not going anywhere. You're done. Your season's over. You're not going to the playoffs. You could go undefeated the rest of the way. You're not going to the playoff. Your best win going forward would be Wake Forest. And Wake Forest is a solid squad. You're not going to the playoff. Clemson season's already over. NC State got destroyed by Mississippi State. And they come out at home and destroy you guys. So this game would have been over a long time ago if NC State's kicker could make a kick. So Clemson, you actually didn't even deserve to go into overtime. You got into overtime and you lost. And Dabo Swinney, it's time to clean stuff up here because your offense looks atrocious. And NC State, I don't think this win means as much to them as the loss means for Clemson.
I mean, yeah, what can you say about NC State? It's not the biggest deal to them, but the fact that we're seeing Clemson all of a sudden just, they had a couple great years, Trevor Lawrence winning the title there, winning a title with Deshaun Watson. And now when we're talking about coaches and coaching through adversity, and then you not having to start quarterback that brought you all your glory days, it looks bad. And it just makes it look like, how much harder the jobs for Nick Saban is. Nick Saban didn't have a star QB for the longest time. I understand he can recruit the hell out of the rest of the field. But he was winning titles with Greg McElroy and all these boys, and now everything has come back. Now when you can't recruit, the right QB, get the QB to play the way he's supposed to, it don't look good, and that resulted in Clemson not falling from number 9 to number 25. And hey, they might fall out of the top 25. And yeah, it just looks bad for them. Well, let's see. I think, yeah. So DJ Uyangale overthrew Justin Ross for one of the passes. And then he also underthrew a pass, I think, fourth quarter. The defense just forced them to just not make the plays, and that's what it is. It just NC State outlasted them. That's the second loss of the season. We thought they could have run the table after losing to Georgia. And before we even recorded the podcast, before we even started recording, you said, hey, that Georgia win week 1 looks less impressive now, seeing what Clemson is like.
And I feel bad for Georgia because they balled out in that game.
Exactly.
They balled out. So, now, final game. Because this week, I'm gonna be honest, week 4 was college football. Football is amazing, obviously, but it was okay. Nothing crazy. Nothing. Not that many great games. But hey, the ABC game at night ended up becoming a great game. We had West Virginia at Oklahoma, 17-point underdogs, which is what West Virginia was, and they were leading in this game. Oklahoma, they look like they really. Lincoln Riley can coach offense. Where's the offense? He didn't score last week. He should have lost to Nebraska, in my opinion. Nebraska should have beat him. West Virginia, they were lucky to beat them. They were lucky to beat Tulane. They beat West Carolina. I'm gonna keep saying this. Where the hell is West Carolina? I still don't know. Somewhere in Western Carolina. I'll give you that. But that's it. That's all I know. Spencer Adler, his stock keeps going down. I'll give him credit because they were down 3 points. No, it was a tie game, and he drove them down the field in the fourth quarter and was able to get the game-winning field goal. So give him credit where he's due. But, bro, 16 points? This is ridiculous. You barely scored 24 against Nebraska. 2 points was on a returned extra point attempt. So they've combined for not even 40 points in their last 2 home games. I don't care against Nebraska and West Virginia, which are decent teams, but come on, man. So Oklahoma, they can enjoy their undefeated record right now. I think Texas is going to get them. I think Texas is going to get them since they made that change to QB. I think Texans can get them. And I think they're so blessed that this weekend, their starting quarterback for Kansas State is not playing. Most likely, Skylar Thompson. If he was playing, I would pick Kansas State to win this game. But Oklahoma, they got Texas. They got Texas, and that's about it. Baylor could get them, and that's about it. So, overall, I think Oklahoma, enjoy your unless they figure things out. So they still got Lincoln Riley. They still got the talent. They got figured. The defense is playing well, though. I'll give them that. The defense is playing better than the offense. So that's pretty crazy to say about Oklahoma and Lincoln Riley and all the the QBs he's had. But right now, Oklahoma looks like they can be had, and they better watch out.
I mean, you're talking to the guy that thought Oklahoma was going to make it to the title game. I am not feeling good about that one right now. They look like anyone that can play defense is about to whoop their ass because they can't score. I pick Rattler to win. Heisman, that's not looking good either. And it's just how much has changed in over last season to this season is just crazy just because, dude, they were putting up points and they're putting up points. And we talked about it. Like, yeah, they can outscore anyone. Hey, a team can put up 35 against them, but they'll put up 36. And this year, it doesn't look like it. If someone puts up 35 on them, it looks like it's going to be a hard time for Oklahoma to keep up. And I think, yeah, you might be right. Texas might get them, but I think someone can easily just get them this year.
They're not going undefeated.
They're not.
That's the main premise I'm trying to say.
Yeah, someone's going to get them, whether it be Texas or whether it be someone else down the line. Someone is going to get them because they don't look like the Oklahoma that we're used to seeing.
All right. When we went over week 4 was in my opinion, appetizer for the upcoming college football Saturday, which is going to be absolutely insane. I can't see any way where it's not. And with that said, we have the rankings. Now, these rankings, I feel that they've made some great decisions and some that are kind of up and down. So I'll start it off. But great decisions, in my opinion. Alabama, Georgia, no problems there. Those two belong there. Oregon, fine. Penn State being 4. Yep, let them have that spot right now. Oklahoma should be far less than 6. Oklahoma should be. There's no way Oklahoma can be ranked higher than Arkansas. That is complete bullshit. Arkansas should be a top 4 team, top 5 team right now, just right now, ranking wise. You cannot tell me Iowa's resume is better than Arkansas's. They have a top 10 victory on their schedule, and they beat Texas, who was ranked at the time. So Arkansas should be much higher. They're the 8th ranked team right now. Cincinnati at 7, that's solid. Florida, no problem there. Ohio State, I guess that's fine. Ole Miss, hey, they're going to have their opportunity. This is it. Lane Kiffin, Nick Saban has never lost to one of his assistants. So Lane Kiffin, you can make history, bro. We've seen Johnny Manziel go to Alabama and take him down. We've seen Dak Prescott, I think, did it. I can't remember for sure. I think Dak Prescott did it.
Yep.
So Matt Corral and Ole Miss and that team that you got over there, here it is. I think this is the most vulnerable Alabama's been. I love Ole Miss. I loved Ole Miss before the season started. You know that. I picked Matt Corral to win the Heisman. And hey, you're going up against the other guy that could win it. So you outperform him, it's yours. So this is a huge. If you're going to watch one game this weekend, you got to watch this game. Ole Miss at Alabama and Cincinnati at Notre Dame. There's so much on the line. Michigan at 14, up 5 spots. Oh, my God. I think that game showed more about Rutgers than Michigan. Michigan is the same old story. They're going to get had. Somebody's going to get them. They could lose to they could lose to Wisconsin. So Michigan also stay wary. Let's see what else. Fresno State. If Fresno State had just beaten Oregon, how high could they have gone? And then Clemson goes all the way down 16 spots to number 25, Clemson. And I don't even think they deserve number 25. I think right now, if you told me who's better, Clemson or Texas, I would pick Texas. So Texas should be ranked, and Clemson should be unranked. I can't believe I'm saying that. Wake Forest, 24th. That is a very solid spot. All in all, there's some good things on this list and some pretty egregious mistakes. The number one egregious mistake being, how the hell is Oklahoma ranked higher than Arkansas? That's complete bullshit.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at this, and obviously, I think I said Penn State should be in the top 4 last week when Oklahoma was at 4, correct? Last week, yep, when Oklahoma was at 4, I said I think Penn State deserves that spot. Moved Oregon up a spot to 3, and then I guess anything here that bothers me, I would say, like you said, Clemson probably shouldn't be ranked any further, and they can be had by anyone. They can be had by anyone. They
should be 0-3. They should be 1-3. Georgia Tech almost beat them at Clemson.
Yep. Let's see who else. Let's see. Anyone else do I have a problem with? No. Texas A&M is where they should be after their loss. Ole Miss should be higher. They are playing fantastic. I love watching them. They're going to be playing huge games coming up. Oh, my God. I can't wait for week 5. Just looking at these rankings get me more and more excited for week 5 because week 5 has so many implications on what is about to happen to these rankings. But other than that, I don't see anything that I find an issue with. I think that's pretty much it. All right, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.